This verse reminds us that in order for God to trust us with big responsibilities, we must first prove ourselves worthy of them by being responsible with the small tasks He gives to us. If we can't even handle small responsibilities, how will He be able to trust us with big ones? Most of the time, many of us want great power now, but we forget that with great power comes great responsibility that we might not be able to handle quite yet. That's why Jesus reminds us that if we want greater things in our lives, we must be patient and handle the small responsibilities around us well, and then He will bless us and give us more.
The section Acts 20:10-12 comes from is titled Eutychus Raised from the Dead at Troas, and it talks about how Paul raised a young man from the dead after he fell to the ground from the 3rd story. The verse's purpose is to be an example of how great God's power is that He raised someone from the dead through Paul. It reminds us how almighty He is and that we should give Him praise. The fact that He did it through Paul is an example of how He can bless people through us, and that we should humble our hearts for our Creator so that He may come into our hearts and give us the power to help other people and show His glory to the world.
Paul's paradigm for our decisions making is much more expansive than just how it affects us individually. He calls us to be wise in the way you act towards outsiders. So, who exactly are these outsiders? Biblically speaking, they are people who have not been transformed by Jesus. These are men and women who are not of the faith. So, Paul tells us that as we go about our days, we must consider how our actions affect those outside the faith of Christ. More specifically, we must be careful that our actions affect them in a way that points them to Jesus and not away from Him.